All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investors Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is Investors Schooling Live with your host, Larry Steinhouse, CEO of Investors Schooling.
You're hot.
Good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, Investor Schooling Live is transmitting from the Investor Schooling Studios here in Investor Schooling headquarters. I'm Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and I want to thank you for listening and get ready to learn real estate investing, stock options trading, and so many more things about money that I bet you didn't know. Hey, you can call us anytime during the show with your questions, 855-939-1137. That's right, it's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. We're a live program. You can call anytime during the show, and we'll take your calls. Hey, don't worry about the topic. We'll take your calls about anything that has to do with money, finances, or even politics. Hey, we're also live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And, of course, please say hi so I know you're watching. At Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing, stock options trading, how to save money and taxes, how to be financially free, and we even give you the motivation to make money work for you instead of you working for money. Investor Schooling is located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right off the Newtown Bypass, serving the New Jersey and Greater Philadelphia areas in a real brick-and-mortar building. Our students are also located in several states where our exclusive web access to our classes and seminars. And now you can get ready to learn something new, get ready to learn the business of entrepreneurship, real estate investing, stock option trading, and you're going to get to learn it from your friendly neighborhood financial expert, Larry Steinhouse. Now check this out. I have my lovely wife with us today. Say hi.
Hello.
So if you guys don't know, my wife is Linda, and she's the boss. She runs everything. No?
No, that's definitely not true, and people who know you definitely know that's not true.
Well, I actually think it's pretty true. I think you're pretty important. You're a pretty important part of the school. Now, you're in the back end. Nobody even knows you exist.
That's
well,
true.
That's not really true. I shouldn't say nobody knows you exist. You obviously know you exist, but I don't know why it happens, right? So what happens is people they don't know that you are here, but they do know you're here because everybody says hi, Linda.
Okay. Hello.
Right?
Hi,
and you
everybody.
run all the important stuff. So Colin is saying there's feedback in the Facebook feed. I don't know why, Colin. I just don't know what to do to fix it. Hold on, let me see if I can, but I don't think I can. So I'm going to have to say that if it's there, it's there. I'm sorry about that, Colin, but this feedback in the Facebook. So you guys just tolerate it. It is what it is.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, I know. I can't even. I'm not even sure where I am this morning. It's been a while since I did this show.
Yeah.
You know, we were away for 2 weeks, and then they were WPHT was last week. They had special programming. I came in this morning. I had to turn everything on. Nothing worked. I was frustrated trying to get everything to work. So that's why Colin's hearing feedback right now. But if you guys are hearing feedback, sorry to hear that. But if you guys want to call in, you can call in at 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. But one of the reasons I brought Linda in today was it's kind of funny because, last week, 2 weeks ago, if you were listening, Dr. Deb was on and she was talking about, things that could go wrong in owning real estate. And, she talked about, we have a student here named Omri, he's a good friend of mine, and we call him the worst landlord. And he did a presentation on the worst landlord. I don't know if you remember the show, but he did a presentation on the worst landlord, and he talked about how the tenants were taking advantage of him because he didn't do a lot of the right things from the beginning, which is what I taught him to do, but he decided that he wanted to do it his way. But I wanted to bring up some interesting things that came up with us this year. And some of them have to do with condo associations and tax collectors. Oh, boy.
And insurance.
Oh, and insurance. Yeah. So
All of the above.
These are just weird stuff. So Linda does a lot of the back-end stuff for the properties. She takes care of the bills. She makes sure everybody gets paid on time. She makes sure the taxes get paid on time. She makes sure that the insurance companies get paid on time. She follows up on insurance cancellation notices, right?
Yes, when the insurance company sends your bill elsewhere, and then all you get is the cancellation notice, and I don't understand why the address isn't the same for the bill as it is for the cancellation notice, but I keep track of what ones are coming due and usually have to call the insurance company and beg for a bill.
Right, exactly. So we'll get a cancellation notice by email, right, or by mail.
Mail.
So-
We do most everything by paper mail, so I have a paper trail at all times.
Right. So we'll get a cancellation notice for a insurance bill that we didn't pay because we didn't get the bill.
That's right.
And then we found out this week what was the magic solution this week that we found out?
The magic solution?
Yeah, where the bills were going.
Oh, well, that was because of the refinancing that you did, and the insurance company set it up for the mortgage companies to pay the bills. And I said, no, you're sending us all of the declarations, you're sending us cancellation notices, but the bills are obviously not getting paid by this mortgage company, so maybe it shouldn't be going there.
Right. So basically, what happened was, you guys, again, if you're fans of the show, you've heard this before. Last year, I did 13 refinances on just 13 of properties. I couldn't get more loans. You're only supposed to be able to get 10. I was able to get 13. But I got 13 loans last year. Actually, 13 loans in December last year, and refinanced. Excuse me. I refinanced all these properties at ridiculously low rates because I knew we were never going to see 3.5% rates again. So I refinanced all the properties, and apparently the insurance companies think that the bills are supposed to go to the mortgage companies. They never did before, but now they're going to the mortgage companies, which I don't understand.
I don't get it. I don't understand a lot. Just,
Really? Well, before we get into some of the
sometimes
other
I get bills and then I get checks back, and I'm like, why did you bill me if I wasn't owing you this?
And then they send the check back and they cancel the insurance also, and they say you didn't pay. Oh, no, we have the check that you sent back.
Very, very frustrating.
It is. It's
But
funny.
the main frustration of this year was
Wait, hold on.
Go
We
ahead.
got Colin on the line. We'll talk about that story.
Okay.
We'll talk because that's a long story. That's a great one. Hey, Colin, what's going on, man?
Hey, Larry, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and there's no echo.
Oh, perfect. Look at that. So, it's just a Facebook feed. It's weird. But no, I just want to call in, say hello. Haven't talked to you in a while. Say hello to everybody over at Investor Schooling and any other streaming service you have online right now. And I wanted to say Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, man.
Everything's been great. I wanted to thank you again for this amazing year because thanks to you and Investor Schooling, I actually found life insurance. And life insurance has changed my life. It's changed my family's life. I'm actually an agent now. And really thanks to you, I'm doing really successful now. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Glad to hear that.
that's fabulous. Congratulations.
Yeah, and thank you. Yeah, it's been a real. We're actually moving. We Eric, my father-in-law, he's
Sure.
renting me his house out in Morrisville,
Okay.
and we're going to be moving in January 1st.
All right.
And I mean, I wouldn't have even thought that figure would have even been like I could even do that unless I was in this industry.
That's
So
great,
it's like amazing. Yeah.
So what are some
But,
of the things that we taught you
the-
that helped you become an insurance agent?
Well, for real, it's money mindset. It's all the educational material where I'm actually going to be a landlord like sometime in the future because that's where I want to do. But yeah, it was when you got Brent and Hannah and the Money Multiplier team out, and you sparked my interest
Cool.
with that. And that's when it was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to do life. And yeah, I didn't end up working with Hannah and Brent. I ended up working with American Income.
Okay.
But
great.
like that's what started it. You know what I mean? And now I couldn't even tell you, how much success I have through it because I'm apparently a really great salesman. So it's
important
amazing.
in that business.
And it all started from you, Larry.
Well, thank you, man. I really
Like
appreciate that.
it started from you.
I've been getting a lot of compliments this year, and actually, the students the other day gave me a plaque, which I thought was really cool. I didn't bring it down here, so I can't read what it says, but it was really cool. It was
Yeah,
them,
I saw that.
yeah, it was them saying how much they appreciated me, and I tell you what, that actually, I'm actually humbled by the whole thing. I mean, it's wonderful. It really is, and I love it because that's what I do this for.
Well,
it's
yeah, I
funny.
think
People
it's you. You did a lot of this stuff. You brought all us together. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of our friends from Investor Schooling, I wouldn't know anybody unless it was you.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
funny.
mean? So, like, you're the one who brought everybody together. You're the one that's making people successful. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
And don't ever think other than that. You know what I mean?
It's funny. A lot of people think I make a lot of money, with our programs. We don't make any money in investor schooling. We make money in real estate deals that we do. We make money in the stock market.
Right.
And in fact, I've said this so many times. If I actually closed investor schooling, I'd probably make $300,000 to $500,000 more a year if I closed the school. But I would never do that because
Well,
I
probably
don't do
because
it
you
for the money.
focus
I do
more
it for
on just what you have to do, your real estate. I mean, you
Yeah.
focus on this broadcast. You focus on your students. You know, if you take your time, we only have a little bit of time in each day. You know, so yeah, definitely. If you focused on just yourself, you'd make way more money. But
absolutely.
you took the time to focus on us.
Absolutely.
And, I mean,
when
it
I hear
says a lot
stories like
about yourself
this
and
is
your
it. This
character.
could keep me going for the next 10 years. Just because I hear the success stories. I love it. Thank you, Colin. I so appreciate your
That's
call, man.
awesome. That's what it's all about. Glad you're a success story.
And wait to hear the story that we're going to tell in a little while about the tax collector. It's
Ugh.
going to be pretty funny because we're talking about some things that you know you have to deal with as a landlord. And this is one I've never had to deal with in 42 years. I've never had to deal with this one before, and that's how crazy this is. So, so Colin, stop on by one day. I'd love to see you again. I know you've been busy. Stop on by and we'll talk again. All right, I think we lost him. That's cool. All right, so
That's not
so
cool.
here's the deal. We got to tell this story. So this is crazy. So we actually told this story a little bit of the story. We told it a couple of months ago when you were on before, but we didn't get too into it. But let's talk about the whole thing. So it all starts when, you know, we own several properties and we have a computer. We have a computer system. Actually, it's not even a computer system. It's actually Wells Fargo Bill Pay that we pay all the taxes out of. So we put the tax collector's name in the bill pay, which, by the way, this is a really weird thing. One of those crazy things that I don't understand is why you have to write the tax bill out to the tax collector's name. Why isn't the bill written out to tax collector of so-and-so county? That should be would make so many
Well, you're jumping ahead
so
on
much
the
more
story.
sense, right? But okay, but the tax collector they want them written out to their name, which is strange. I've never understood that, but this is what happened this year. We have the tax collector's names already in the bill pay, and the tax bill came, and Linda was going to pay it early to get the 2% discount off the tax bill. And what do you think happened? She accidentally sent it to the wrong name, same address, but wrong name. Now, there's a couple of things you could do if you're the tax collector, right? The first thing you could do is be a mensch and say, hey, oh, I'm really sorry, Mrs. Steinhouse, you sent this to the wrong person. Can you just send another check and send it out to me? And that's the simple solution, right? Hi, I'm the new tax collector. I want to be happy. I want to make my constituents happy. I realize I got voted into this thing and I can't be fired. So instead of acting like a jerk, I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to just say, hey, just send me another check. So what happens, Linda? Hold on one second. I just want to give out the phone number one more time. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. All right, Linda. So what happens? You send the check to this guy with a 2% discount. He sends you a letter back, and what does it say?
It began back in March. It was the real estate taxes for a particular property, and the face value of it was due June 30th. I was paying taxes well in advance. This was the middle of March, so we were getting a 2% discount. It was not that big of a discount, not that big of a deal, but when you have a lot of properties and a lot of taxes to pay, you try to get everything done so you get the weight off of your shoulders.
Sure.
So yay me, I was paying taxes in advance. And in April, the tax check that was sent through the bank account was returned to me with a note that it had been written out to the wrong name. And I realized that when I was paying the bills that you had it set up for the previous tax collector, and I just went in and saw tax collector for that county or the township and just had the bill paid from that. Never noticed it, never thought of it. Now I do.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, he sent me the form along with it, charging me $5 fee for duplicating the bill, meaning he sent me a copy of the tax bill and charged me $5 for that copy. Well, obviously I had a copy of that bill and didn't need another one because I wouldn't have known what to pay. So I was a little upset at the $5, but whatever. Yes, my error. I resent the check and put the...
You sent a new check, right?
I sent a new check.
Right. With the amount and $5, right?
With the I can't even remember. I think the $5 was originally in that one. I did. It was
Right.
So I
it was a
added
check.
that
Right. So let's say it was a $500 check. You now send a check for $505.
to the correct person.
Right.
And that happened in April. It was the beginning of April because it was a couple week turnaround time of getting his stuff, figuring out what went wrong, redoing it, and sending it out. And then he got back to me in May, sent the check back again. I called him, said, "What is this for? What's happening?" I sent it out to you, and he told me that it had the $5 is a separate fee. And I had told him that this fee for the duplicating process of a bill I already had was unnecessary and probably not going to bother paying that. So he said that
But you already paid it. He just sent the check back.
he sent the check back to me
Right.
and was now telling me that I owed him $10 for duplicate fee. And I said, I'm not paying you for the county or your township for your paper, your pen, your ink, your stamp, and whatever, because that's what our taxes go to. He said, oh, no, this is for my time. I said, whoa, wait a minute. You're a paid employee. That's your time. I'm not paying you for your time. I have paid this tax, and I've paid it in the proper time frame. Please accept the check. So now there's a difference between that $5 added and another $9 difference for the tax owed.
Right, because now it's face value because the discount already ran out.
Right, because he did not get the check back to me by the end of March.
Right, but he had the check within the discount period twice.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, he has been holding on to the checks and getting it back to me in the later time to put me in a new tax bracket or give me a penalty.
That wasn't a penalty. It was just no discount. But yeah, okay.
Well, this
The discount
this
goes away.
time was not a penalty.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then he insisted on his original $5, and I said, why are you holding my check for the tax if you're telling me that your penalty that you're giving me, or your fee, is separate? You should be depositing my check and crediting my account. That $5 you want from me is something totally different, and we can battle that out separately. So this went on throughout May, back and forth phone calls, back and forth letters.
And
Finally,
now he went to $10.
yeah, it went from $5 to $10.
Right.
So then the end of June is when the face value, June 30th, was done. And
And then it adds a 10% penalty.
it adds 10% after that, right? So in the middle of June, still holding my check plus the additional $9 check I sent for that change in in cost of the tax because of the time. I actually went and paid that. I figured for the couple dollars, it's not worth it. I'll just give him an
Right.
additional check for the change, and we'll be paying at face value by June 30th. So he's still holding both checks.
Right, so this was like June.
This is on June
is somewhere like
16th, I
the middle of
think,
June, right,
was the email from him letting me know that he's still waiting to process the check because he wants that $5.
Now it's 10.
So anyway, he said that I went right back to him and said, you told me it's two separate things. Please deposit my tax check and credit my account. The next day, he emailed stating the same thing again. You're going to go into penalty. You're holding my check, sir. I'm not going into penalty because I am in the proper time frame for the amount you have in your hands. So he still continued to hold our check. By now, I'm a little frustrated. I don't know where to turn. Who above him do I go to reach out to get this going? This man is in the wrong. He's playing a game, and
Hey, he's got a
I
God
need
complex.
to
He's the tax collector.
I need to get my tax paid and not be charged 10% when it goes past July 1st because he is holding my check in his hands. So I reached out to the
Well,
president.
wait, why don't we take one step back, because I did something in between this time.
No, you
Oh,
did
I
not
didn't?
do that yet.
Oh, okay.
You were not even involved in this
Yeah, I
yet.
know. I didn't even know anything about it the whole time.
So, I mean, of course I would tell you about it, but I was handling it. So I reached out to the president of the tax collectors, I believe for the county, and I asked her, where do I go from here? What do I do? Who can I go to tell this man to deposit my check and so I don't go into penalty? And she was very apologetic. She was concerned as to why is this happening, and gave me the advice to go to the commissioner or something in the area of the location of the tax being collected. So I did research who that was, found him out. He was very upset about it and said he would look into it. So of course they reach out to the tax collector, who of course is going to tell how he's in the right. And I gave specific details and every single thing that happened and time frames, and he came back to me and said, okay, he told me he deposited your check last week, that your account is credit, everything's good. I thought, well, that's really interesting. Well, first of all, his email response to me stated that everything is okay and you're going to be getting a check back. I went back to the commissioner. I said, I'm really confused. I thank you for your input, but why would I be getting a check back? So he was confused. So all this confusion was just creating more of an issue. So then I kind of redetailed everything to him, and he said, oh, I apologize. That's when he told me that this tax collector informed him that everything is okay, the account is credited, and he deposited our check the previous week, which was the end of June. This email correspondence was the beginning of July. Well, looking at my bank account, there was no cleared check. So I thought he did not deposit that check. And sure enough, he didn't. The check was now 90 days old.
Well, actually,
And
it was
when
93 days old.
When it's outstanding, I
Right.
wrote it April 7th, and on July 7th,
Mhm.
it hit the bank account because our bank, cancels
Returns the
it.
check because they think that the check was lost.
Mhm.
So they automatically reverse the check. Now, remember,
Right.
this money's already been taken out of our account for 3 months.
That's right.
We don't have it anymore.
Right.
So he's holding his check, and then he decided not to deposit it at that time.
Right.
And then, of course, what do you think happens? He says the check bounces.
That's
But
right.
the check didn't bounce; it expired.
So now we're the bad guys because our check bounced. I thought, this is absolutely ridiculous.
And now we're in the penalty phase.
We are now in penalty phase. The tax is due with penalty on December 31st. So September comes, and I get this
Right.
Bill?
And by the way, we didn't even know about the check bouncing, or did we?
No, it didn't bounce.
Right.
It was canceled.
What he calls
But it was
bounce, yeah.
back into our account, and I knew I had to get this bill paid. But the problem was my battle now was to fight against the $70 penalty
Correct.
that he incurred on us. That was his doing by holding on to the check. That, to me, is just against the law, first of all. He's playing this game.
No, he has a fiduciary responsibility to deposit our check.
Yeah, and the frustration of it was the higher-ups they really just didn't want to get involved with it, so it was very frustrating. So anyway, between July and September, I just thought, well, it's not due till December 31st. I have that much time to battle out for $70, which of course we got the bill for in September with a lovely note from the tax collector of, you are now in the penalty phase because
Right.
you didn't pay your taxes on time. So of course I did not have very many kind words to say around the house that day about the subject, but anyway. The end of October, I reached out again to the commissioner with a copy of that bill and the $70 penalty on it, and said, what are we doing about this? This penalty has to be cleared. And I was told that only the tax collector can clear that penalty. And I thought, well, that's obviously not going to happen. So,
Well, not only that, it's kind of interesting. So it's a new commissioner and it's a new tax collector because all the Democrats got voted in, and the funny part is the commissioner actually has the power to tell him to waive the penalty.
And the commissioner, as kind as he was, getting involved and did what he could, really more or less was, I'm hearing your side, I'm hearing his side, and I'm not doing anything about it. I told him, or I requested of him, could I send our payment to him, the commissioner, and he take it to the tax collector, watch it get deposited, watch our account get credited, for the amount less the penalty, would he do that? And he said, handle this through Mr. So-and-so, the tax collector.
Oh, no, I have no problem giving his name. We're going to.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
I'm going to blast this guy in the air.
Okay. So after all that, I thought, really, he's washing his hands of it. I have every ounce of documentation. Larry will let you know that I am very extremely
she's
organized behind, and I have everything documented, and I'm upset that I did not save his voicemail back on May 13th when he was finally responding to my phone call, inquiring why I got the other check back and why he wasn't depositing it. But anyway, so we played the game back and forth of more emails and documentation and everything, and everybody washed their hands of it. And in the meantime, probably September, October, I guess it was, Larry decided it was time to just have a little fun. So you can tell that part of the story.
I was frustrated. So Linda's telling me that he won't deposit the check unless we bring him $10. Remember, this is still within the time of before the penalty. So I called him up. I said, Sheehan, what's going on with this? So, by the way, his name is Martin Sheehan. He's the West Norriton tax collector, and he has a God complex. By the way, he's also a real estate agent, and I don't know how anybody with an attitude like that can hold a professional license in this state, but I'll tell you what I did about that, too, in a minute. So here's the deal with this guy. So Martin Sheehan, he continues to play this game, and I call him up, because Linda's telling me this story, and I said, all right, I'm going to bring your $10 right now, and you can deposit this check. He goes, okay. So I go there, and I show up, and I have a little conversation with him. Okay, so what's the story with this? Well, your wife didn't send me the $10. Blah, 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 blah. Same garbage he's been telling her the whole time. And I said, okay, fine. And I said, so if I pay you the $10, we're good? Yes. I took a bag of pennies, and I put $10 of pennies on his desk. And that should have settled it. Matter of fact, I made one mistake. What was the mistake I made? I didn't ask for a receipt.
Yep.
So then Linda sends her email, I want a receipt for the $10, and he ignored it. He would not give us a receipt for that $10. Still, so he's still holding that $10. He's also holding another $9.38 check or something like that, check that's not, that
check was, he deposited that check.
He deposited that check, right.
That check was the balance owed of the bank check that I had sent.
Right.
So instead of the original check that I mailed back to him with the change, because we had new texts because of the June 30th time frame, to put it at face value that was owed back in June, when I sent it in April. No, actually, I sent the second check with it in May, but he deposited that handwritten check, but not the bank check.
Right, exactly. So
the $9 check got deposited.
Right.
So
he actually owes us $9, which is kind of funny anyway, and he owes us the $10 penalty that I paid in pennies. But here's what I did. So I went yesterday, 2 days ago. I went to the bank and I got 2 certified checks. I got one for the face value of the taxes, and I got another one for the penalty. I got them 2 separate checks, and I showed up and I said, and it's funny, he didn't recognize who I was at first. I go, Sheehan, I got your checks. I go, I'm going to give you one last chance to make this right. One last chance. He goes, well, what do you mean? I go, here's the face value. Here's the penalty. I said, give me back the penalty check, and we are good. We're good. And he goes, I can't waive the penalty. I go, you can waive the penalty because the penalty is your fault because you didn't deposit the checks. Well, that's what you say. That's okay, fine. Here's the 2 checks. I want a receipt right now that I paid these taxes. Of course, he gave me the receipt. We're good. I looked at him and I said, by the way, where would you like to be served? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, would you like to be served at your home or would you like to be served at your office? What do you mean? I'm suing you. He goes, oh, you can serve me anywhere you want. So I immediately drove to the courthouse and I filed a lawsuit against him for the difference in the taxes. and understand, just so you understand, we don't care. It's a big deal. We wasted $80 or $100 on a lot less important things, right? But this guy's attitude is so bad that I absolutely believe he should be impeached. He should be removed from his position, and he should even possibly be investigated by the DA over the $5 and the $10 that he was extorting from us, literally extorting from us. So I went and I filed a lawsuit against him, and it's funny because they go, would you like to have this certified mail, or would you like to have a constable deliver it? And I go, well, they go, the constable's $25 more. I go, oh, definitely a constable. I want the constable to show up and make him sign for this thing, make him sign to be served. So we will let you know how this lawsuit goes, but I'm not going to end it there. I'm going to go to the DA afterwards, and I'm going to say, listen, this guy tried to extort $15 from us, and I have a problem with that. I don't think this guy should be in this position.
Right. It's not actually extorting it from us because the county actually gave him permission. It does have.
No. But when he says that has to be a separate check for his time, that's extorting the money.
Oh, I agree.
Right,
and
right.
do you remember what I did when he started playing the $5 for my time game? And I said, do you know how many months this has gone on? And do you want me to charge you for my time
I
and all
actually
this?
sued him for some of our time.
So
I went cheap. I only went $50 an hour at 7 hours.
Well, that's a lot cheaper than the invoice I sent him
I
with
know.
the other check. I turned around and sent him an invoice for my time of $245 an hour.
Yeah, which is what it should be.
And that's cheap.
But I put down 50 because I wanted to make the number something that the judge would say, okay, here, in case we win.
Right. I mean, and to me, it's just been like a nightmare, a headache. I've been doing this since March, and I'm tired of it. I cringe, and in the meantime, we got the school taxes for a couple $1,000s, and I thought, oh dear Lord, I have to pay this man again. And now, and that went over smoothly, and I double-checked, triple-checked everything before I sent that check.
Exactly. And it's funny that we got that check on time, no problem, because we made it out to the right person. I mean, and again, this all started because we made the check out to the wrong tax collector, and all he had to do was say, hey, I'm the new tax collector. Can you please make the check out to us? By the way, this has happened to us before. You do realize this has happened to us. It happened to us in Warminster when we sent the bill there, and the tax collector changed, and she just said, "Hey," or the new one just said, "Hey, just send me a new check."
Yeah.
So everyone, and I don't think it's happened. I think it's actually happened before, and everyone just simply says, "Hey, I'm the new tax collector. Can you fix this?"
Yeah.
It's like they should expect this to happen. And, somebody didn't update their records. Big deal.
Right.
Anyway, hold on. Let's go to a commercial. And then we're going to talk about some other crazy things that happened this year in real estate. But by the way, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to tell you some of the, you guys are worried about toilets, and toilets are nothing, and this is nothing too. It's just kind of funny that as you start to own real estate, crazy things start to happen. So we're going to take a commercial right now. We'll come back in just a minute. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you afraid of the Great Reset? Well, the Great Reset won't apply to those who own real assets. At Investor Schooling, we teach you how to own real assets like real estate, gold, silver, and other investments, including stocks, stock options, and even the basics of cryptocurrency. We even teach you how to pay thousands less in taxes legally. So go to investorschooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse, and you have probably heard my radio shows and listened to my great advice on how you can make more money and pay less taxes. Well, I just finished writing a book on all things I teach at Investor Schooling and on my radio shows. This book is called Money Hacks, and you want a copy of this book, and you can pre-order this book wherever books are sold. Look for Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. Hey, it might even be a tax deduction. Order Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse wherever books are sold, and come see me at Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhouse from Investor Schooling. Are you tired of being broke? If you're tired of being broke, go to investorschooling.com, sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. That's right, go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. And if you have any questions, you can call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Go to investorschooling.com, sign up for this Thursday, and learn how not to be broke. InvestorSchooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse from Investor Schooling, and I'm so excited when our students do well. Listen to this student and listen to what he has to say about Investor Schooling.
I sold one of my properties last October, doubled my money, and what I did, I invested into another property and then closed on a refi, and I wrote myself a check out for $118,000.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. And if you want to find out more about Investor Schooling, go to InvestorSchooling.com, and we will see you Thursday night, and we will help you any way we can. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of the Biden economy? Do you want to learn how to thrive in the Biden economy? Because we're going to teach you that this Thursday night at Investor Schooling. So go to InvestorSchooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to thrive in the Biden economy. You can also call us at 215-876-3002, 215-876-3002. Tell me you're tired of inflation. InvestorSchooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
30.
Investor Schooling. The opportunity to retire with a great big real estate portfolio is coming quickly, and you want to learn how to do it. We all know the downturn is around the corner. What does that mean to you? You need to learn how to take advantage of this opportunity, like how to buy discounted properties with absolutely no money out of your pocket. Can it be done? Yes, it can. Can you learn how to do it? Yes, you can. Go to InvestorSchooling.com and find out how you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday. InvestorSchooling.com.
Mike's hot.
All right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling, and my wife's here, Linda, and we're having some fun talking about this guy, Martin Sheehan, who is the god of tax collectors. He believes that he has the power to abuse people. He believes he has the power to treat people the way he's treating them because he is the tax collector. Dun 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 dun. I mean, really. I mean, this guy can't possibly have any more of a god complex. You know, when all he had to do was say, "Hey, I'm just gonna send him a letter, say, hey, can you just send me a new check and everything's good." That's all he had to do. And it's costing us money, it's costing us time, and now I'm suing him because of what he's doing to us. So I just found it hysterical. I figured you guys would want to hear this whole story, and I will let you know how the lawsuit goes. I don't even care if I win, to be honest with you. Just the fact that I'm annoying him as much as he's annoying me is all I really needed out of the money to file for the lawsuit. By the way, if you have any questions, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137 is the number you can call. You can talk about this. You can talk about anything else. But, it's funny because, now we have associations to deal with, right? So now we have the newest one is the association. So we actually, I really like, and I've said this before, I really like condos. I really like townhouses. And it's funny because a lot of people say, oh, you have to pay all those association fees and deal with associations, blah, 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 blah. So most of what we have is condos. I don't even know if it's most anymore. It's probably about half now. We have condos and townhouses that have associations. Now, I don't really care. It's not a big deal to me, what their rules are, and, you just have to follow them. But they make up their rules as they go, which is the really crazy part. So we have a couple of condos, or a couple, I guess they're really townhouses, but they're really called, they're two-level condos is what, so they look like a townhouse, so they're townhouse-style condos is what they are. And in the same neighborhood, they're actually right next to each other, which is interesting too. And we had some problems with them, and those problems included one of our tenants who kept bringing guests over. So there's a certain amount, you get 2 parking spots, and they kept bringing guests over. And the association kept complaining to us that they were parking there without parking passes. So why don't you go on and tell some of the stories that Christopher, the association manager...
Actually, for about, I think, 2 years we were ongoing of on and off. Oh, they have 2 more vehicles parked there in the spots and don't belong there, and they're only allowed 2 registered. And of course, we have our tenants' vehicles registered with the associations, and so they were sending us notes that they're going to be towed if they see it again.
They said it's not that they were going to fine us. They were going to fine us $25. Remember?
They were always fining us every time. They fined us every time. However, they would tell us and threaten us that these vehicles are going to be towed. We finally turned around and said, our tenant keeps telling us they are not her vehicles. this is constantly going on. You're coming back at us, telling us it's her vehicles. We don't know that for sure, and she denies it. We weren't physically there watching her or her guests get in. And we finally started telling the association, tow the vehicles. Tow them. Just do what you keep threatening
right.
and tow it. Leave us out of it. If you find that they are in violation and you have told them over and over again, just tow the vehicles. For 2 years, they would never tow the vehicles. And it didn't happen like every day for 2 years. Every couple of months, we'd get notice of the violation. But come on, just follow through with it. And maybe they'll realize, wow, they mean business. Can you please park down the street when you sleep over at my house? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so they sent us a couple of fines, and I actually went back into the association docs, which is interesting. A lot of times you'll find these associations will make up rules, and when you read the docs, the rules that they made up don't follow the docs. And the docs actually said that there's nothing in there that says that they would fine us. There's nothing at all. It only says that if you park too many vehicles, they can tow the vehicles. So we wrote an email to the property manager, and we said, look, your association docs right here. I gave him the paragraph, I gave him the sentence, blah, 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 and it says there's nowhere in here that says you can fine us. It only says you can tow the vehicles. Now reverse the fines and tow the vehicles.
Right. And he did reverse them
He did
back
reverse
then.
them, yeah.
But then they get thrown on ever since then, too. And anytime we figured there must have been a neighbor in the area that was after this poor girl, because it seemed like every time they were doing a pop-up inspection of the community, and it'd be a day where she left a trash bag on her front porch, to take to the dumpster later or whatever. Oh, she's leaving trash out. Oh, she left a Christmas decoration out. I'm like, oh my goodness. That's really, really petty, and it is a nice development. I understand you don't want it trashy, but, give us a break. Sometimes people set something out to go elsewhere the next time they walk out the door. It's unbelievable. And then also on top of that, they were the ones that the chimneys. They had redone the chimneys a couple months ago and were letting us all know, any homeowners in that community, that we were responsible for chimney caps. That's what it was. And we were responsible to pay for that. So they were going to get that done and then bill us. So I received the bill. We have 2 units in this development. I received a bill for each of them. I paid the bill, and on the next statement from the association, they deducted that bill amount plus a $25 late fee on it. So I went right back at them and said, wait a minute, how do you invoice us and then you also deduct it or charge it on our monthly statement? You double billed me. And
then added a penalty.
And added a penalty to it. 2 weeks after the time frame of an invoice, they were penalizing us for something we actually paid. I don't comprehend a lot of people. I really don't. And I got right on it right away and very kindly said, please reverse this. And they did. I believe. We haven't gotten the new statement yet. They told me they did. But I also had to deal with this association last week looking for the proper paint color.
Oh, yes.
For the door.
Yeah, we're renovating one of the condos. Actually, we're renovating that exact condo because they left. We're renovating that exact condo, and we changed the hardware on the door, and because we changed the hardware on the door, like the old mark, it didn't fill the same footprint. Right. So part of the door has these brown spots, and we want to just paint the door the same color. Which, by the way, these doors are the ugliest color I've ever seen. It's like a peach pink, worn out, garbage color, and all the doors in the place are exactly the same thing. But my I should say not my, but our handyman wants to know the color so he could fix it. Right. And we can't even get the color.
So because of the holiday, which I understand, I just emailed our property manager there requesting the name and number of the paint color so that we could touch up the door. Well, it bounced right back because he's on vacation this week, which I understand, but when you have your handyman, your contractor at Home Depot who wants to pick it up right then and there, I can't get an answer for him right away. So that's another trip, another effort for him. So when the email came back stating that he's away for the week, he'll be back after the new year, it had an 800 number if you have any questions. I thought, well, I'm going to call this number because it's still a week away before I could even get in touch with the guy. So I called the number. I waited on hold for 20 minutes, and then it was another 20 minutes just for this guy to tell me, looking it up, oh, I don't have that information.
Yeah, right.
I will email the property manager. I said, I've emailed the property manager. He's not available. Do they have a team that works together on the holidays that somebody could just look up a paint number? Well, did you file an architectural design change? And I said, why would I file a design change on something that I'm looking for the exact color of to paint the front door?
Hey,
So
guess what?
he's going
We
to
have a legend calling us right now, Dennis Klein. I think that's the same Dennis Klein. Dennis, what's going on, man?
Hey, Larry, how are you?
Good, you're a legend, man. Most people have no idea who you are. You're like a famous real estate investor in this area, and I mean, at this point, what do you got? Like $40 billion worth of properties now?
No, I, as you well know, I moved out of sticks and bricks and went into paper.
Right.
I sold
Most people do, which is funny.
my stuff. Yeah, it's just paper doesn't give you the same headaches that sometimes real estate does. It's first off, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully 2023 will be a better year for everyone.
Yeah,
and
you got that right.
It was interesting with your dealing with the tax collector, which is not unfortunately unusual with some of these local municipalities. I've had my share of conflicts with them myself. When I had all my stuff in Philly years ago, and again, what you're explaining is part of the real estate investment business. Period. I used to allocate at least 2 to 3 days a month to be somewhere in the city of Philadelphia at some department to correct some problem that they created. So that was just part, and that was just logged in as part of my everyday doing business in the city of Philadelphia. And certain municipalities are absolutely wonderful. As you well know, I deal with a lot of different municipalities, tax offices, and also through the zoning commissions and stuff. And some are absolutely wonderful. They do a great job, and there's other ones, like you explained. These people think they have a certain power that over everybody and anybody.
He was insulted that the check wasn't written to his name, Oh, how dare they put somebody else's name on a check that's supposed to come to me? I mean, really?
Years ago, Abington Township had a problem with a tax collector who decided that Abington's money was his money, and they changed their procedure, and now all checks get made out to Abington tax collector.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be everywhere. I don't understand this name, putting a name on a check.
Well, that's the way a lot of these municipalities have gone years ago. They are, unfortunately, there are, like in any other business, there's some people who may, take a couple dollars here and there, and, to counteract that, all the checks in Abington are now made out directly to the tax collector. In other words, Abington tax collector. That's how you make the checks out. Mm-hmm. When you pay your taxes, it's very simple. It's not in somebody's name. Unfortunately, some of the solicitors in these other outlying areas have not informed the municipality of their liability that the tax collector, they could potentially have with the tax collector. Because it's ultimately the municipality's liability.
Absolutely.
Because that money's not, it goes directly to the municipality. It has nothing to do with anybody else. And again, sometimes you have to go to the top in order to get some type of resolution to your problem.
Yeah.
But it is one of those situations that unfortunately pops up periodically.
You need to stop by the school one day. Come by on a Thursday. Come by next Thursday, and maybe give a 10 or half a 10 minute or a 30 minute or even 45 minute. I don't care. Just a story about how you got started when you bought your. I love the story of you buying your first house. But I actually, instead of you telling me that, there's a question on Facebook that I think would be a really good question to discuss. And I like the fact that you're on here because you and I think alike. So here's the question. So somebody wants me to ask this anonymously, and they basically have a multifamily house that they have in Florida, and the ad says, it says something about, they need 1 month security, and they want to do so in other words, if you're applying for this apartment, they will also said that they're going to do a security check and a felony, a credit check and a felony check. And then it says that there's a response to that says you can't discriminate against felons. So, this has been an interesting topic because the laws have changed in the last couple of years, and I know Philadelphia is one of those where you can't discriminate against felons. Have you come across that?
Well, absolutely. And if you go and look, you will see a paper from HUD. Where HUD specifically says that you may not discriminate against a criminal background. That just because in other words, you can't say, oh, you have a criminal record, I'm not renting to you. Correct. Because it's discriminatory.
Right.
Okay, and they explain why and everything in the paper. However, you are allowed to look at what the offense is, and you are allowed to disqualify a tenant based upon the offense. So, if the guy did, he was a shoplifter and he was 18 or whatever, minor offense, or maybe, he got picked up for marijuana but not distributing. He just had enough on it for his own personal use or whatever. Those are not crimes that would typically disqualify somebody under the new HUD ruling. And I say new, this has been out at least 3 years. It's one of those issues that has come up. Landlords obviously all stand there and go, I have an obligation to protect the tenants in my building, particularly multifamily. So therefore, I have to make sure that whoever I put in there is not going to affect the rest of the tenants in the building, which is always a challenge with multifamily. And as you well know, that's all I did. For the most part, it's multifamily.
Sure.
And you all, that when we did our qualification and we talked to our tenants, we told them point blank, there are 15 other tenants in this building, and you have to respect the rights and of the rest of the tenants. They have to respect your rights. You can't be doing things that disturb the other tenants. And we had a nuisance clause in our lease that allowed us to basically, terminated a tenancy if they became a nuisance, and we defined what that would be. And so it puts the landlord in a really awkward position with the ruling from HUD.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you how I deal with this. I deal with this completely different. I don't tell people whether they have the apartment or don't have the apartment. I just tell the person who I give the apartment to that they have it. And then I don't have to tell anybody why they didn't get the apartment. It's so much easier that way.
Yeah.
And as soon as you tell somebody anything, you have a problem. Hey, Dennis, I got about a minute left on the show. Why don't you stop by one day, man? We'll have to talk. You stop by. I think my students would love to hear your stories. Your stories are great. You're a great guy. I appreciate the call. And definitely stop by. And by the way, anybody else out there who wants to come to Investor Schooling, go to investorschooling.com and you can sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. And maybe if you ask nicely, Linda will even stop by and say hi. Will you?
If they ask nicely.
So I am Larry Steinhouse. I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. We have a great time teaching people real estate investing and stock options trading and anything you need to know about money. We teach it. If you want to learn how to make more money, you want to learn how to build your wealth, definitely come see me. I also want to thank Daniel Valdez. He is our producer today at WPHT. I, of course, want to thank my lovely wife for coming in. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. InvestorSchooling.com.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
You're clear.
As expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling.